cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Go figure, get the figures, let's make about 8.
Cash rule, cash rule, cash.
When worst come to worst, my peoples come first. I was hardly making George before I'd written a verse. Kept my mind straight, no hate. Work with my ambition, invested in my ideas when nobody would listen. They told me I couldn't do it, so
let me go ahead and jump in here and say hello to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And let me know if you can see me and hear me. I just plugged in my other microphone, and I want to make sure you guys can see me and hear me. Give me a yes or no if you can see me and hear me. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Blazing Phoenix. Hey, Jerry Watkins Sr., Uncle Jerry, what's going on? Good to see you. Cheryl Stevenson, Ben Ogorji, is that right? Ogorji? Give me a yes or no if you can see me and hear me. Yes or no? Can you see me and can you hear me? Give me a yes or no. All right, Patricia Hill, thank you, Alec and Wanda and the ATL in the house. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know, just so you know, I don't plan on being in here for too long, but I thought there was something that came to mind last night. I don't know why. Stuff just comes to mind while I'm sleeping. And so I get up and I say, okay, that must mean God wants me to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. And I'm not just talk about it, but I'm gonna be about it. Thank you, Terrell Bimbry, for your donation. I appreciate that very much. This money goes right back into investing in the community. As you guys know, drboycetv.com, we are the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're Black and intelligent, say I. Everybody who's Black and intelligent who believes that Black people need to be more intelligent, everybody who believes that Black people can do better, if we are productive, say yes, say I, say me, say present. If you put Black people first, type B1 in the chat. B1, that's what we type when we let people know that Black people's needs and issues are number one on the map. We're number one on the list. We are the top priority. We are the original man and woman. We are the greatest human beings in the history of this earth. And we are extraordinary. We cannot be stopped. So type B1 in the chat if that's what you believe, because that's the code we live by and that's who we are. So anyway, good morning. So do me a favor, first of all, also, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you have not hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, make sure you subscribe to drboycetv.com and everything else, or whatever platform you're on. If you're on Twitter, please retweet right now. If you're on Facebook, please share, just all that stuff. Please do that because we really need your help. Your part, as Susan Rice said. Susan Rice told Snoop she had an army. Well, I'm here to tell Susan Rice that I got an army too, and so I got a lot of soldiers in the building. And I'm not the commander per se. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I am here to take my role and my responsibility in working on behalf of the team to make everybody better and stronger in the long run. So with that said, let's go and get it cracking. I wanted to talk a little bit about actually a topic that called relationships. And the reason I want to bring this topic up is because I've told you guys a lot, and I like to repeat it just to make sure, just for the dumb motherfuckers in the back. Relationships are an extremely important part of the wealth building process. In fact, most people who are able to make lots of wealth, they make lots of wealth because they're able to create and manage productive relationships. Now, these relationships, basically a relationship, in my opinion, is anything that involves you interacting with another human being. Anything that involves you interacting consistently or inconsistently with another human being. So that could be romantic relationships. It could be business relationships. It could be, relationships in terms of just your friendships. It could be relationships with your spouse. Right, all this stuff, right? So that's why I like to talk about relationships. And in fact, with Boyce Watkins Films, our film division, one of our latest projects that we're consistently working on is called the Black Love Blueprint. And it's actually not just a series of films that we've made, but there's also a love and money class connected to it. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to theblackloveblueprint.com, THE, that's theblackloveblueprint.com. You can get the first month free and try it out. It's a great way to learn how love and money interact, and you can also watch the film for free. So let me dig into this. So I wanted to talk a little bit about dating and and dating a professional Black woman. And I'm talking about Black women. When I say women, I'm really talking about Black women, because to me that's the only type of woman that there is. I don't really think much about women who are not Black in terms of, what my romantic choices were. I told you guys years ago, some of y'all been following me for years, and you will know that years before I agreed to marry Alicia, or before I asked for her hand in marriage and she accepted, I told you guys, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna get married. I think I will. But if I do, she's going to be Black. Like there's nobody else need apply. And that was because I feel that marriage and family building is an important contribution to the strength of the community. I feel that building a Black family is important. It doesn't mean I'm here to diss people who don't do that. I got people in my own family who chose not to do that. But it's really something I lay out there because I want you all to think about that. I want you to think about the fact that empires, economic empires, political empires are built through marriage. Can I get an amen if you understand what I'm saying? Give me an amen if you agree that marriage and family is a critical element of empire building. Kings and queens will get this. If you go back 1,000 years, empires were merged through marriage, right? It wasn't just like, oh, I think he's cute, or oh, I think she got a big booty, or oh yeah, I want to go get down tonight. I want to put some money in your stripper thong and plant my seed in your body, like that. That was maybe that happened. I guess I'm sure it's always happened, but that wasn't what family and marriage was all about. It wasn't about who you thought was cute and who you just fell in love with. It was about empire building. It was strategy. Marriage was a type of strategy. And so to this day, you see remnants of that. When people get married, you see legal documentation that comes with that. And lots of, the public and professional dispositions are built upon who you're married to and all this other stuff, right? So I'm not telling you to get married or not to get married. I'm not into that, but I am here to tell you a little bit about it in terms of what I studied in the research. And I wrote a book years ago called Financial Lovemaking. And in the research for that book, that was when I actually saw how love and money merged together, and also how women felt, mostly how women feel about the importance of financial security. That's why I told you guys also on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. So feel free to follow me on Twitter, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. And on Twitter, I told you guys what I got for Alicia for Valentine's Day. And some people thought I was corny. Some people thought it was great. Some people didn't give a shit. But here's what I mentioned. I said, yeah, I did the romantic stuff. I got her the flowers and candy and stuff that all arrived right on time. That's great. But then also we took that on Valentine's Day, we went down to see my accountant, and we formed an LLC. And the LLC is for property acquisition. So we basically formed this LLC so that we could go buy more rental property. And I just told, and I shared this because I just kind of wanted people to understand that, that romance and finance are deeply linked, whether you like it or not. Most of them ain't nothing going on but the mortgage. They used to say ain't nothing going on but the rent. Well, I don't want y'all just to be renters for life. I want you to be talking about mortgages, right? So ain't nothing going on but the mortgage. And so now somebody mentioned that there's a little bit of buffering. Let me know if you're able to hear me and see me clearly, or if I'm not coming through okay. I'm gonna try to check my Wi-Fi right quick, make sure I'm on a right Wi-Fi signal and all that good stuff. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. Stay on the line, don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna check my Wi-Fi signals and make sure everything's good. All right, so ain't nothing going on but the mortgage, and then after the mortgage is paid, then you get to the other issues. In fact, the majority of divorces occur because of financial topics. Did y'all know this? That finances cause the majority of most relationship breakdowns. How many of you, yes or no? Give me a yes or no. How many of you have ever fought with your partner over money, or seen a couple where money became the biggest, most insidious problem in the relationship? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no if you've ever seen the damage that financial insecurity can cause to a relationship. Maybe it's financial infidelity. I found out that motherfucker was spending the money on extra tacos, right? Whatever, right? And how many of you have ever seen this? In fact, I remember talking to a woman when I was writing that book, Financial Lovemaking. I remember talking to a mom who spent 2 hours on the phone telling me about how she had been saving for her daughter to go to college. She had been putting money in a container. It was real basic, right? She was putting money in this container, her spare change, extra dollars, whatever. She wasn't investing in anything like that because she hadn't taken my investing class, which you guys are welcome to do. But she was doing what she could, right? She was saving. By the way, saving is not a good way to become wealthy, just in case you want to know. It's very hard to become wealthy through saving. You actually have to invest so your money can work for you, but we'll talk about that later. And so anyway, so this mom was telling me She said, I'm putting all this money in this container and saving for my daughter's college. And I did this for 7 or 8 years. She said, I come to find out that every time I'm putting money in this container under the bed, my husband's going right behind me and taking money out to pay for his lunch. So she's putting in the 20, he's grabbing the 20. She puts in the 10, he grabs the 20, right? And so she couldn't understand why the money wasn't growing. It was actually declining, and she couldn't figure out why. And she found out that he was taking the money to buy lunch. And she said, and she was ready to divorce him over this. She was ready to have another relationship. She was looking for a side piece. Like this is not my husband anymore. This is my roommate now. She said, you literally, and she said this to me on the phone, and she was mad. She said, you motherfucker, you literally ate and shit out our daughter's future. You literally ate and shit out our daughter's college education. Like that was what, and I'm like, wow, I'm just fascinated. So I'm just sitting there listening to this story, and it just really made me aware of how, or it was a reminder of why, you got to think about your relationships as part of your long-term economic strategy. Like your long-term power play has to be connected to the relationships you keep. Because if you have bad relationships and you're hustling and grinding, then what'll happen is, unfortunately, that the wrong person can drain away everything that you've built. Just like that lady saved up all this money and her husband was taking the money away. And that's the thing. See, that's the hard part about how many of you in here are builders and hustlers? If you are a builder and a hustler, raise your hand, say I, say me, say yes, right? If you are a builder and a hustler, like you're the person who wants to go, take a class so you can get smarter. If you want to go and invest money so you can become wealthy, if you have a master plan to build wealth, maybe you're somebody who's been thinking about starting a business. Like if you're in that category, raise your hand, say I, make yourself present. I want to make this a trend. I hope I can make it a trend. But so here's the deal. Here's the problem. If you are a builder, if you are a hustler, if you are an achiever, if you are an accumulator, wealth is nothing but an accumulation process. It just means you have a bunch of money because you've been stacking your paper. That's all it means. You're accumulating, just like snow accumulates, right? If you're an accumulator, you have to be extra careful because you're going to attract the takers. You're going to attract the leeches. You're going to attract the people who are looking to become somebody's dependent. And this ain't just for the men. I know men talk about, these hoes be taking my money, blah, 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 right? Yeah, that happens. Sure, absolutely. But I've seen it happen to women a lot. Seriously, I don't know if anybody else has seen, but I've seen a lot of, they call it, our term we use for that is what they call the hobosexual. The hobosexual, H-O-B-O, the hobosexual is a man who knows how to sling it in the bedroom, who looks for women who have a house, have some money in the bank, whatever, who can afford a nice car or whatever, and they pretty much make themselves into prostitutes. They make themselves available sexually, and they're draining these women for money, right? So watch out for the hobosexual. If you are a builder, I guarantee it, you will attract the takers. You will attract people who ain't got nothing going on except their relationship with you. Them being with you is all they got going on. And next thing you know, you'll be pissed off because you worked to build and you realize, wait a minute, 10 minus 8 is still 2, right? So I'm still a 2 because they're a -8, right? When really in relationships, you want to be thinking, okay, 10 plus 10 is 20, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for people that can also add to what you have going on as either complements or supplements or add-ons to what you have. So let me talk a little bit more about that. And before I do that, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, just a reminder, we do have that film which goes with the class. It's called The Black Love Blueprint. If you are interested in love and money and topics like that, feel free to check it out. We're Boyce Watkins Films. We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars making great content and films and everything. And we're trying to take over this Hollywood thing. I told you guys that it's important for Black people to own media. So we're not just talking about it, we're being about it. And so we actually have a film division. We partner with Quayle TV, which is the Black Netflix, KWELI TV. They're a streaming service. And so we stream our films on there. And also, if you want to go check out the trailer and check out what we got going on with that, go to theblackloveblueprint.com, THE. That's theblackloveblueprint.com. There's actually a monthly program. You can get the first month free if you go to theblackloveblueprint.com. All right. So I'm gonna give you 5 quick reasons why what I found to be the benefit of dating or marrying a professional. I did say a professional woman, which sounds like I'm talking only to men, but actually I'm talking to women as well, because now we've got an issue in the Black community where you got a lot of professional women. Tell me if you've seen this. A lot of professional women who are linking up with guys that can't add a lot of value, right? And a lot of this is not the fault of anybody in particular. There's a lot of factors at play here. Number one is media and culture. This is one of the reasons why our goal is to help take over Black media, is because media is making Black men into it's what they call infantilizing them. You got a lot of Black men who grew up wanting to be basketball players, rappers, or thugs. So they're 35 years old, still got their pants sagging, still thinking that they're like a 17-year-old rapper, still acting like little kids. Maybe they're 35, 40 years old, sitting on the couch in their woman's house playing Xbox and smoking weed all day, because they've never been trained on what manhood looks like, what a man is actually supposed to do. It doesn't mean you can't play Xbox. I mean, I got an Xbox. Xbox is fine, but I spend this much time playing Xbox and this much time, running my household, being a father, right? So ultimately, I think this applies to both men and women. And so I'm going to tell you a few cool reasons why professional partners are awesome to have. I want to say awesome. I don't want to say better, because some of you may not want to be professionals. You may link up with somebody who is a homemaker. I think homemakers they add value in a certain way as well, in the sense that, they can be great compliments to you if you're the professional and they're the homemaker, as long as you know what it is. It's like basketball. If somebody says, I'll play center, the other person says, I'll be the point guard, then as long as you compliment each other, it can work out. So here's some reasons why. One, I find that if you're dating a professional woman or a professional man, there's just generally more money to go around. That's pretty awesome. When you have more money to go around, because they're getting their paper, you're making your paper, you're bringing your paper together, you both have more money. As a result, you have what I consider to be a financial teammate. It's easier to win a game if you got a teammate. It's harder to win a game if you're doing it by yourself. That's why single Black mothers actually have the lowest net worth in America. I don't know if y'all know that. That's one of the reasons why I warn you to be extremely careful about having children in situations that are not financially stable, or even if you're not married. Think carefully about who you lay down with. If you lay down with a person who is not capable of even barely taking care of themselves, then chances are they're not going to be able to take care of a child. Or if they have children, they're not taking care of the children properly, they're not going to take care of yours, right? This is the advice I give to young women. But generally speaking, having a good financial teammate is really powerful. When you don't have a teammate, you also will observe other little things like Black men actually who are like in the child support system, who have like a lot of children out of wedlock, kids just kind of splattered everywhere. They also have an incredibly low net worth, because it's very difficult for them to build a positive net worth, if you're dealing with, paying off 4 babies, mamas, and student loans at the same time. You're barely trying to get by, right? There's a lot of stress there. The second benefit I found with dating or marrying a professional woman, and that's what I'm doing. Alicia is a professional woman. She's a professor and she makes her own money. Is it's nice to have like a plan B, like a backup. Somebody that where you're sort of what they call diversified. In finance, they call this diversification. So you actually have another person that says, hey, if something goes wrong with you financially or with your business or with whatever you're doing, I got your back. Like, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, I can help out. Like, I got money coming in. We can live off one income, right? That's pretty cool. That's actually a nice feeling to have. And so I encourage you to really ask yourself in your life, where are my backups and how do I get backups? So if you don't do it through like a traditional relationship, you may want to do it through, becoming part of a group. Maybe there's a group of entrepreneurs you can work with and talk to, and you form a little economy where, if you have a down month, you can go to them and do a deal and actually get some cash flow moving or whatever, or find some new customers or whatever it is you're trying to do with your business or trying to do with your financial life. Just having a plan B reduces a lot of stress. The third benefit I have found with is, with dating or marrying a professional person who has their own money, is that in the event of divorce is very high in America. It's a reality. Alicia and I have talked about divorce, not because we plan to get divorced, but because we know what happens. And we do, we did the prenups and all that. Is, if you do have a divorce, an ugly divorce is much more costly than a clean divorce. An ugly divorce is much more costly than a clean divorce. An ugly divorce has you spending, all your money on lawyers. It causes lots of emotional distress. It becomes a massive distraction to your time, so you can't build. So not only are you losing what you have, but you're also, not able to build because you're so distracted. emotionally and in terms of your time. And the other thing too is if a person has their own stuff, then your likelihood of a cleaner divorce is better because they're just thinking about protecting what they've got, and they're going to be more likely to be fair with you, I believe. But if they have nothing and you've got everything, then what's going to happen is you're going to get chopped in half, right? Because all they've got is what you've got. All they are is what you are, right? So that's where shows like Basketball Wives come from. Basketball Wives is basically, a lot of women, not all of them, but many of them, who pretty much were groupies for, chasing an athlete so they could get half of what he's got. Because their only claim to fame, the only reason they're on that show is because they linked up with the right dude, and that dude becomes their claim to fame. That becomes their measure of success. That becomes the thing that they attach themselves to that allowed them to feel wealthy and successful, right? And so the same thing happens on the other side too, right? You saw when Jill Scott got a divorce, her divorce was very messy because all this man had going on was Jill Scott. His number one asset in his life was Jill Scott. His only access to resources was Jill Scott. So Jill's like, okay, peace out. It didn't work out. Good luck to you. Have a nice life. And he's like, no, you better come right back. You better come back here, girl. No, 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 no way. I'm living without you. You gonna love me. I told y'all that's the stalker song where somebody's like, oh no, you ain't going nowhere. You come right back, right? And how do I know a lot of these things? Some of these things I know through observation and research. Some of these things I know through experience. I've made that mistake. I didn't learn it when I became more successful, famous, whatever you want to call it. I noticed that I was attracting a lot more takers, and I was in a relationship where, I was ready to move on, and she's like, no, I'm broke now. So suddenly it's like, she's fighting to hold on, to grab onto my money. I'm like, what do you want? Leave me alone. Like, I'm moving on. Like, I thought, but it's life, right? That just comes with the territory. Mary J. Blige is another good example. So I want to make sure it's not just a gender conversation. This is across genders. If you got something to lose, somebody's going to go and try to grab what you got. Do me a favor. Take 1 second on the count of 3. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Twitter, please retweet. If you're on Facebook, please share. 1, 2, 3. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, notification bell. Hit that notification bell. Retweet this conversation. Also, please share if you're on Facebook. Also, if you want to help us grow the platform, and I'll give you very low cost, 90% off access to my life class. I have a life class called Black Keys to Greatness. You can go subscribe at intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So in exchange for you being a patron and supporting the channel, I'll give you 90% off my life class, where you can learn all the keys to success that I practice in my life. It's called Black Keys to Greatness. I'll put the coupon code up there today. And also you get access to free VIP Q&A sessions, right? Where all the patrons, I invite the patrons in. It's a smaller group, and we're able to answer questions, and I answer every single question in these groups. So feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com if you'd like to be a part of that. All right. So let me go through a couple more. Number 4, if you date or marry a professional person or somebody that's got some stuff going on, it's a little less risky in the sense that that you're dealing with somebody who also has something to lose. This was something I actually got more in tune with as I became more public and, had more, whatever assets and all this other stuff is, if my father used to tell me when I was young, he said, a person who has something to lose should not be around a person who has nothing to lose. Right. So he was telling me this as a teenager. He's like, if you got something to lose, you're going to college, you're trying to do something with your life, you shouldn't be hanging around with people that have nothing to lose, because, some guy will just pull out a gun and shoot you because he ain't got nothing to lose. His life already sucks. He ain't got nothing to look forward to, whatever. Well, I find in relationships that's true also. If you've built some, I'll give you an example. I had a friend who was a corporate executive, and he was making a lot of money, like $250,000 a year. And he liked the pretty girls. He would always trust a big butt and a smile. I'll tell you that much. And he linked up with this lady, drop dead gorgeous woman, but she's a little bit crazy. She was a little bit crazy. And he would tell me these crazy stories, but of course, he was young, so he was, into the sex and all that. And one day, he was trying to leave her. He was trying to end the relationship, and she was doing a lot of crazy stuff. She was not just threatening suicide, but she was threatening to go to his job and tell his boss that he raped her. He was threatening to go to his job and basically get him fired from his job because she knew that he valued his position. He valued the role that he had. So her thinking was, I've got nothing to lose. So I'm gonna make sure you lose everything, just like I'm losing everything, right? You've got people out there like that. And so one of the lessons I hope that he learned from that whole experience is that if you've got something to lose, you're probably safer to be with somebody else who has something to lose. It's almost like when you talk about nuclear deterrence. The Russians have their nukes aimed at the U.S. The U.S. has their nukes aimed at Russia, but they both got something to lose, so nobody fires their nuclear weapons, right? So my biggest fear in terms of the global apocalypse or nuclear war, winter or whatever, is having a leader who says, I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to hit this button. I'm just going to shoot a nuke across this, like that. That's literally something that I thought about. I fear that, right? And that's what it is. If you've got somebody who's got nothing to lose, they will fire their nukes at you because they don't care about nuclear annihilation. Look, you go down, I go down, you go to jail, I'll go to jail. It don't matter. I don't care, right? You don't want somebody like that. You want somebody who's thinking like, look, as long as you don't hurt me, I'm not gonna hurt you. You don't embarrass me, I won't embarrass you. You got your good job, I got my good job. I want us to both keep our job because I don't want to lose my job, right? And so I think that kind of thing is really, really beneficial. And actually, when I got just be keeping it 100 authentic with you guys, because I know I like to be a little bit open in terms of sharing real life advice, because I know a lot of us don't have maybe that father figure or that older brother or that uncle that can tell us certain things. But I can tell you, when I got to the point where I was single and I was choosing and I was trying to think about what I wanted in terms of my next relationship, I got to a point where I would pay close attention to how a woman conducts herself, especially when she gets angry. Like you got some people who get angry and they start blasting, they start spilling the beans, they start telling all your secrets, they start talking crazy about you in public and all that stuff, right? You got people like that. I'm just going to tell you, don't date somebody like that unless you're ready for that kind of chaos, because people like that will become a big mess that you have to deal with and you have to clean up. Instead, you want somebody who is able to just say, look, we slept together. Everybody don't need to know that. We had our little issues. Nobody needs to know that. It's between us. Just stay away from me. I'll stay away from you. I'll move on. Right. So, in fact, actually, there was one lady that I thought about dating. I remember, and now again, I don't date like a normal guy. I don't like a lot of guys just jump right into the vagina because they're just so excited to be with a woman. I never did that. I would observe a person for a very long time to see if this is a situation I wanted to go into. And there was one lady, drop dead gorgeous, so pretty. I was so interested in dating her. And then one day she got on Facebook and she just blasts her ex-boyfriend and just starts telling all his business and dogging him out. And I was like, you just got eliminated from the game show, sweetie. So I wish you well in your life, because you will never get a phone call from me. Somebody like that is not good for you, especially if you're trying to build something. And again, I tend to attract people that are building empires, that are trying to become wealthy, that are trying to become successful. And I'm telling you, protection of wealth goes beyond just, 401ks and estate plans and wills and trusts. Protection of wealth means also just protecting yourself from people that are going to come in and become suicide bombers within the middle of your operation and just blow everything up. The number five reason, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. The number 5 reason that I think professional women are better to date, or not better, very nice to date. I'm not going to say better because I don't want anybody to think that they're less than. But I think professional women or just professional people, period, are better to date is for presentation. Like one of the great things that I actually like about Alicia is that because she's a doctor and because she's professional and because she has home training, she's not going to embarrass me. Like if we have a dinner party, she knows how to walk up and greet people and have good conversations with people and be friendly with people. She's not some chick gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. No, nigga, no, that motherfucker was up here talking shit about me. Like I don't want that. I don't need all of that, right? And so ultimately, it was actually kind of cool to have, to be in a scenario where I'm like, okay, you know what? Your woman's a good representation of you. She's a good reflection of your household. She's a good reflection of you, right? And same thing is true for your men. I mean, some of y'all, probably got ratchet ass. Let me tell you, and I like to use both genders, because sometimes when you talk about things in a certain way, because I'm a man, people assume that this is all about me talking bad about women. And actually, let me flip it then. There's a lady who's a professional who lived in our neighborhood, who decided that because she was looking for some good, you know what, and I guess she was hungry for a man. She married a dude who unfortunately had forgotten that he was not in prison anymore. Let me just say that. No diss to anybody who served time. A lot of you have, and I don't think there's any shame in that. I respect you probably more than most people because you're rebuilding your life, and I honor and respect that because I know what prison is doing to the Black community. But you know what I'm talking about? You ever see somebody who got out and still hasn't learned that they're not in prison anymore? You know, like have you ever like seen a person that like kind of just they need to maybe go to etiquette school or reintroduce into society so they realize like, no, you don't actually have to stab somebody with a spoon because because they took extra beef jerky at dinner time or what, like you know what I mean? So this dude, check this out. So somebody in the neighborhood, a man in the neighborhood sends the family a Christmas card, or it was a couple, and the man's name's on the address, and they get and the guy gets the Christmas card, and he goes to the dude's house and he rings the doorbell, and the man answers the phone. He's like, "Hey, what's going on, Joe?" And Joe's like, he's looking at the card. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? He's like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? And he's like, "What are you talking about? It's a Christmas card." He's like, "Why are you sending my woman a Christmas card?" Right? And so they, of course, they called the wife like, "We're sorry, we didn't mean to send you a Christmas card." And she was really embarrassed, and she ended up getting divorced from the guy. And it's just kind of like an example of kind of like, and you don't want to say it too much because you don't want it to appear that you think some people are better than other people, but you have to make sure somebody's able to integrate into the culture that you are connected to in an appropriate way. So maybe if you're from the hood, maybe you don't want somebody that's overly bougie. Maybe they'll embarrass you, right? Or whatever it is, right? So I'm not dissing any group of people in our society. I'm just saying that there is such a thing as cultural acclamation. Like there's a person that knows how to speak the talk in corporate space. There's types of people that know how to speak the talk in the Black liberation space, the pro-Black space. There's people that know how to speak the talk in the hood space, and so ultimately it means that you got to kind of have an understanding of what you're going to get so that and then being adaptive can benefit as well, right? Somebody who can actually operate in multiple spaces, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. And in fact, with Alicia, I think that's one of the things I appreciate about her is that she grew up poor. She grew up in Gary, like, straight hood, murder capital of the world when she was coming up, so she's seen it all, but she also knows how to go into different spaces. And if I'm meeting with somebody, I'm like, "Hey, Alicia, meet Minister Farrakhan," like she's not going to embarrass me. Right. But at the same time, if we're just out talking to regular people, she's not going to be all extra bougie either, like, "Oh, those dirty little poor kids." Like, you don't get that either night, because I wouldn't respect that. So and so it's a matter of knowing what you want. Like, for example, I can say that, like, I actually appreciate certain kinds of Black women that have that type of resiliency, that toughness, where they're not going to fold and buckle just because because you're $500 short in the bank account this month or whatever, or you're trying to get or your business isn't going as well as you want, or whatever, or she doesn't get what she wants, or you get her a 2-carat diamond and she really wants a 4-carat diamond, like stuff like that. That was always a turn off to me, and in fact, now I think about it, I remember when I would attract women who were very materialistic, because they would think about, maybe they would see maybe a little bit of money that I had and really be thinking about all the great things they could buy with my money. And I learned how to pick that up very, very quickly. And that was actually a huge turnoff for me. So the thing is, it wasn't a matter of you not liking nice things. It was really a matter of me thinking, like, that's not who I am. I'm not a materialistic person, but I understand the power of money, but I'm not trying to accumulate a bunch of wealth so I can just go to every jewelry store and, spend my money at Bloomingdale's and get every luxury item that I see, right? So it's a matter of really knowing who you are, and then knowing the person that's going to complement and fit into what you are, and also knowing where you're going and finding somebody that's going to complement where you're going. Like, that's extremely important. So that's my 2 cents on this issue. I appreciate you guys listening. I want to make it clear that this is not a diss on anybody who doesn't fit the criteria, or it's not a diss on anybody who's ever made a mistake in this area. This was what God told me to talk about this morning. When I say that, I mean it because I'm a spiritual person and I slept on it. I woke up thinking about it. I said, that would be a great topic to discuss. So that now I'm discussing it. So if you want to see our movie on Black love and relationships, and also check out our class on love and money, you can get a free month if you go to theblackloveblueprint.com. That's theblackloveblueprint.com. Feel free to go there. Also, in case you are watching this weekend, the weekend of the 16th, we're about to end enrollment in my stock market investing class. As of tomorrow, we're going to shut down enrollment for about 6 months. And the codes, so for this weekend only, you can actually get 48% off of the enrollment fee. So it's a really great deal. So feel free, and there's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So if you're not happy for any reason, you can get your money back. So that's one of the things that's really important. So here's the link. I just shared the link in the chat. So feel free to use that link, and you can get 48% off. The discount ends tonight. So feel free to use that link and join the stock market investing class. I think stock market investing is a really important thing for you to know how to do, because that's actually one of the great keys to wealth in this society. And that's my expertise. That's what I wrote my dissertation on when I got my PhD, is the stock market. So I know this stuff very, very well. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Thank you for listening, and I shall see you soon. Be good. Peace.